Hi! Today I'd like to talk to you about why to use a different style of resume if you're an executive looking for a six-figure job. So this applies all over the world. Our clients come from all over the United States, Australia, Europe, even Asia, and this type of resume that I'm going to talk about today, which is called a functional resume, is the type of resume that we have found in the 13 years that I've been doing this, that it gets about a 300 to 400% increase in response rate. In other words, a 3 to 4 times increase in the number of calls that you get from the resume when you send it out proactively to the kind of company that you would want to work for, or if you apply online, which I don't really necessarily agree with or recommend, because only about 5 or 6% of the jobs are out there online. The rest of them are found through knowing people, and also found if you're sending your resume hard copy to the person that would be your boss in the company that you want to work for. That's actually got a better response rate than applying online and getting into that black hole syndrome that you probably have experienced before. So just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Tammy, and I'm founder and CEO of Career Resume Consulting. Again, we're an executive career firm that works all over the world. We're actually based in Kansas City, Missouri in the United States, but we have a lot of clients all over the United States, coast to coast, and then also, like I said, in Europe and Australia and even in Asia. So today let's talk about the functional format of a resume. If you want to see an example, or actually several examples of a great functional resume, go to our website. It's careerresumeconsulting.com, and you can see, I believe there's 2 or 3, at least that many resume examples. There's also some before and afters where people have come to us with a chronological resume that looks like everyone else's, and we've put it into a functional resume. Now, I will tell you that our executive career firm, when we write a resume for someone, we do both the functional format and the chronological format, because there are some recruiters that would prefer a chronological format so that they can put things in chronological order in order to sell you to an employer. However, if you're sending it to an employer, I've never heard of an employer asking one of our clients to send them a chronological resume. They're very happy with the functional resume, and it's because it's a 30-second commercial of what you can do, and it's designed to be persuasive and to get a phone call. Keep in mind, resumes are not supposed to get you the job. They're not supposed to explain everything that you've done and everywhere that you've been. That's just way too long. People don't take the time to read all of that. You really want it to be one page. And so let's talk about a functional format and why it's so important to get it, or to use in an executive job search. All right, so the first thing that it does is it is skills-based, not chronologically based. So it creates your brand. Your personal brand is extremely important in a job search, and really it only means that you are in control of the perception that someone has about you when they first get to know you. In other words, they're first looking at the resume, that's their first glimpse into who you are. You need to be in control of the brand. In other words, you don't want to be defined as a telecom guy or a consumer products lady. You really want to be defined by the role that you're looking for, and that may be different than the roles that you've done in the past. Functional resume is great for changing industries, which 70% of people do these days. And it's also good if you've got some liabilities, because it overcomes those liabilities. And by liabilities, I mean anything that'll keep you from getting a phone call or eventually getting the job. That could be age, that could be long-term unemployment, job hopping too long in one position. That's actually a liability these days. And you know, a lot of our clients are people that are over 50 years old that have been in the same job or in the same industry for 25, 35 years and have never had to look for a job. So this is a new adventure for them. And so we can actually help them with that functional resume. So here's why I recommend the functional resume. Not only can you change the perception that someone has about you, and you are in control of that perception rather than being defined by your just your last job title or your last industry. But also, it sets you apart from everyone else because it looks different than everyone else's. You know, I look at dozens of resumes every week. I see them come across my desk. A lot of times I print them out because I like to look at paper, and that's what a lot of hiring managers do, and recruiters as well. And sometimes they just use their iPad or their tablet and they just swipe, and they're looking at them for about 6 seconds, is what studies have shown. So you really got to capture people's attention very quickly, and one way to do that is to look different than everyone else's. And over 98% of people use the exact same format, which is a chronological resume. So I recommend looking different, and if you go to our website, careerresumeconsulting.com, you'll see examples of resumes that do look different. They're one-page functional resumes. And again, we do both, but we always hear from our clients that the functional one-page resume gets a better response because it's a 30-second commercial for someone. It also focuses on your strengths. In other words, what we like to do is put 3 core strengths right in the middle of that one page and show 3 different bullet points and show your core strengths. And then underneath that, in the selected accomplishments area, you're actually going to go into detail with those strengths and show examples of achievements that back up those strengths. Again, go to careerresumeconsulting.com in order to see examples of those. Now, if you'd like some transferable skills and experience factors to put into a functional resume, feel free to email me. My email address is tammy@beyondjobsearching.com. I've actually written a manual that I'd be very happy to give you for free. I've sold it in the past for $97, but if you're watching this, I would be very happy to just send it to you electronically. And it's the Resume Reboot Manual. Just ask for it when you email me. And again, that's tammy@beyondjobsearching.com, and it's TAMMY@beyondjobsearching.com. And you'll see, I think, 3 or 4 different resume samples plus a functional resume template that will allow you to literally fill in the blanks of a functional resume and put it in the same format that I tell you exactly what to put where, and you can just use that format and create your own functional resume relatively quickly. Now, it also attracts the types of companies that you are looking for. So I always recommend to my clients a combination of sending resumes out to the types of companies that you would want to work for, and that's industry, size of company, and geographic location. So figure out what type of industry you'd like to work in, what size of company, and that could be annual revenue or that could be number of people. And if you're not familiar with the industry, then use number of people. And there are databases online that you can use. I would recommend getting a free library card from your local library system, and you can get access to databases such as the Dun & Bradstreet $1 Million Database, which is kind of the gold standard of finding companies. And you can also find companies under Reference USA, which is a list of databases actually that will allow you to find startups or small to mid-sized businesses, and you can select, really slice and dice a list based upon the size company, the geographic location, and the industry. So proactively send a resume to the person that would be your boss. You can find that in LinkedIn, and then you want to send it to the company that you would want to work for. I wouldn't recommend sending it to HR because what they do is scan it into a database and you never hear from them again. But if you send it to a person that would be your boss, the hiring manager, you're more likely to get a job created for you out of nothing, because over half of our clients get jobs created for them that weren't there before. And it's because one of the advantages of a functional resume is that you can position yourself as an investment and not just a candidate. So you're positioning yourself as someone with an ROI, which is a return on investment. That's really important if you're looking for a six-figure job and you're looking for an executive position. You really want to show yourself as someone who will pay for yourself very quickly. You can do that in a functional resume with a list of achievements that have quantifiable results. So that's important too. People are attracted to numbers. So you want to list quantifiable achievements of times that you have used the core strengths that you've got listed on your resume. All right? So you want to be positioned as not only an expert, but a rock star. Here's what I found just in the last couple of years. I started using the word expert in one of the three core strengths. For instance, you could be an operational turnaround expert or specialist. You could be a long-term relationship building expert. Anyway, if you use the word expert, I've found that you get more phone calls, you get more interviews, job offers come more quickly, and you can more easily negotiate with a company. And here's why. Because people will pay more for experts than they will for just a winning candidate. People want to hire experts. So if you are confident enough to claim your expertise in a certain area, stick that on your resume. And if expert scares you, you can use specialist. But I would recommend using the word expert. I really find every time I put the word expert in a resume, it gets a better response. So that's something that you really should put either in your executive summary at the top of the one-page resume, or put it in one of the three core strengths. Maybe lead with operational leadership expert, something like that. And if you can really claim your expertise, that's going to be huge for someone, and you will get more response from that. And it allows you to go beyond just prospecting for jobs. It positions you as a rock star and an expert, and you really want to be positioned that way. Now, you want to take all of this information that you're putting into a functional resume and put it into your LinkedIn profile. These days, LinkedIn is very, very important, especially in an executive search. Almost 90% of recruiters and 70% of employers use LinkedIn as their exclusive form of finding their next talent. So it's very important that you fill your resume with transferable skills that you can use in any industry, and that's in the skills section, and LinkedIn allows you to have up to 50 skills. So make those skills relevant to the job that you are seeking, and you'll go far. You'll actually get a lot of response. You'll get people actually calling you from LinkedIn. Make sure that your contact information is easily available on LinkedIn. Something else too on LinkedIn, just as an aside, is to fill your groups section with 50 groups, because you're allowed up to 50 groups. So think about what recruiter and employer would be a part of the type of groups that you want to get into, or the type of companies that you want to get into. What groups would they be a part of? And I would do a mixture of very large national or international groups and the local groups in your area. So for instance, if you're a marketer, don't fill all of your groups with marketing-based groups. Fill them with industry-based groups. Maybe you want to go into transportation. Maybe you want to go into telecommunications. Maybe you want to go into a certain industry. So make sure that you are putting groups that would be the same groups as employers and recruiters that are looking for someone like you. What that means is that when they are searching LinkedIn, you rise up to the top like cream, which is exactly what you want to do, especially for an executive job. You want to be very seen, very visible, all right? Now, something that I mentioned, but it's worth mentioning again, is that positioning yourself as an expert and using a functional resume gets you ready for a higher compensation level. I've actually seen that people expect to pay more for an expert. People expect to pay more for someone that is they're a top performer. They are a consistent top performer, and that's what you want to show in your resume. And you do that through a lot of quantifiable achievements. Now, it is a lot of work, and that's the last thing I want to talk about. It's a hell of a lot of work to put this together. Don't think that you can actually put together a functional resume in one afternoon. What I would want you to do is go through an inventory of everything that you've done. And this is just on a piece of paper or on a Word document. Go through every position you've ever had and list what you're most proud of. List how you did that job differently than everyone else. What are the quantifiable achievements where you can say, this is the situation, these are the actions I took, and this is the quantifiable result. And also, if there's a ripple effect, for instance, if it was an annual, you want to make sure if it was an annual number that you say you saved $3.2 million annually. Or if you worked for small businesses, you want to use percentages instead of dollar amounts. Now, also remember, you don't have, with quantifiable results, you don't have to use just dollar amounts. You can use a savings of man hours. Maybe you improved a process. And that could be if you're in a money-making job, like, for instance, sales, or even if you're in operations, especially if you're in operations, there's a lot of cost savings there. So process improvement, what have you done to improve the way things are done? How did you leave your employers better off than where they were before you started? And really, what were some of your greatest achievements? If you won awards, what did you win them for? And what I recommend in a functional resume, at the top is the summary statement or the executive summary statement. Go ahead and lead off with one of these big achievements. Let's say, for instance, over the course of your entire career, when you add up everything that you've saved, or if you were with one employer, you could start the executive summary with saying, having an award-winning career where I have personally saved the company over $6.5 million with one employer, I am uniquely qualified to add to your bottom line in a very brief amount of time, or something like that. So you really want to start it with a boom. You want to capture their attention very quickly, and then you want to end that summary statement with a call to action, which is telling them what to do. In other words, say something like, if you would like to have a conversation about what my abilities can do for you, let's pick up the phone and have a brief conversation, or please give me a call this week and we can talk about what my abilities can do for you. Or if you're ready to take your company to the next level, whether that be in sales or marketing or operations or finance or IT, if you're ready to change your IT cost center into a profit center because of what I can do to save you money, let's have a conversation about what I can do for you or how I can work with your company. So you want to end that summary statement with a call to action. I actually have another video that you can find on YouTube that talks specifically about the components of a great resume, and it's called 7 Characteristics of a Great Functional Executive Resume. So I hope this has helped you today. If you would like to talk with us about our services, just have a chat, you feel free to call our offices at area code 816-600-2478, and also check out online. Go to careerresumeconsulting.com and you'll find a tremendous amount of free resources on that site. I have really packed it full of free resources about every aspect of a job search, whether it be informational interviewing or negotiating or resume writing, and a lot of stuff about interviewing. So please feel free to check out careerresumeconsulting.com, and again, call our offices at 816-600-2478. If you're outside of the U.S., then send us an email at Tammy at beyondjobsearching.com and ask for the Resume Reboot Manual. I'd be happy to give it to you. Or if you want to talk with one of our coaches, our general manager, or one of our coaches one-on-one, feel free to contact me via email, and we can set that up via Skype. Or if you're in the Kansas City, Missouri area, we can even work face-to-face in our offices here. We've got a few offices here. We also have offices on the East Coast, and we're opening up a branch in Europe, which I'm very excited about. So feel free to give us a call or check us out on the web, careerresumeconsulting.com. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you today. Have a very successful search, and I wish you a very wonderful week and a very prosperous week as well. Thanks, and have a great one. Bye now.